So we just got a brand new trailer for The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and it showed off a ton of new details about the game. So of course, we had to take a closer look and see what secrets and hidden details we can find. And we found over 15 big new details to go over. So let's get right into it. First off, the specific locations are feeling different from Link to the Past after all. While previously it was theorized that it might actually be the same map, now we know a little bit more about the world, and it's definitely a bit different. Castle Town is now within the walls of Hyrule Castle, Gerudo Desert has a city, Jabul Waters is completely new, with the River Zora Village and Sea Zora Village, and to the north, instead of Death Mountain, is Eldin Volcano, with Kakariko Village at the base of the mountain, which is a really different layout from A Link to the Past. There's also Goron City further up into the mountain, and to the south are the Faron Wetlands. So, while the general layout of the world as a whole may be similar to A Link to the Past, the specifics seem to be pretty different this time around. But the map is definitely based on it. If we take a look at this scene, which shows off the map, this is definitely a section in the southern part of Hyrule. We can see where, in A Link to the Past, Link's house normally would be, and just south is the swamp, even with the ruins as seen in A Link to the Past. But normally there's a wall right around here and it just ends. But now there's so much more to the south. So it seems that the world of Echoes of Wisdom is an expansion upon the map of A Link to the Past, set some magnitude of time afterwards for the world to change, and new villages to pop up around the world. Honestly, this is fascinating. Moving on to a quick little detail, we can see that characters actually react to echoes being placed near them. The Gerudo guard gets shocked to see the bed appear. Next, we have a bunch of different NPCs, many of which were not in A Link to the Past or some of these 2D Zelda games before, but one of the most interesting ones are the Deku Scrubs, because we haven't had Deku Scrubs in an NPC capacity since Minish Cap. That's a long time. Next up, we can see that this game has a Breath of the Wild styled quest system, and it's even almost the same UI for it too. It lists out if it's a main quest or a side quest, and it even names it. Main quests get marked in the log in yellow, while side quests get marked in blue. And when you get a quest, you can even directly open up the map or the log to get more details on it. And if we actually take a look at these quests in the adventure log, specifically the main quests, we can see that there are two Gerudo related quests, a quest called Searching for Everyone, and this one at the bottom called Mysterious Rifts, which seems to be cleared. So maybe this game is actually open, like Breath of the Wild, allowing you to go to whatever region you wish in any order. So of the Hylians, Gorons, Zoras, Gerudo, and Deku Scrubs in this trailer, Zelda chose to go for the Gerudo first. Next up, there's a brand new location here in this version of Hyrule called Suthorn Village, which is near Suthorn Forest. So we see Zelda using two different horses in this trailer, and it begs the question, does that mean we can catch and register horses just like in Breath of the Wild? Or are there just going to be a bunch of horses that Zelda naturally has access to? It's hard to say. Next, let's talk about smoothies. So as the trailer outlined, there are smoothie shops run by business scrubs all across Hyrule, and you can blend ingredients to make different drinks. So the bigger detail here is that we can collect ingredients around the world, or materials, just like in Breath of the Wild. Seemingly, these would range from fruits and foods to monster parts, and every ingredient has some sort of property as well. For example, we get a look at the Electro Apple, which grants electric resistance. In addition to materials, there's also accessories, and we can see a few of them here in this menu. The Zora Flippers increases Zelda's swim speed, which would imply she can naturally swim already, which would be kinda new for 2D Zelda. There's also the Zora Scale, which increases the amount of time that you can dive, the Frog Ring, which lets you jump higher, the Heart Pin, which makes hearts appear more frequently, and another one that we don't get to see selected. It looks like a flower, and based on the icon, affects some sort of item or material drop with an icon of a butterfly. Maybe it's some sort of good luck flower that increases the drop rate of small creatures that can be collected as materials and ingredients. We do see butterflies in the trailer after all. Next up, we also get a look at some clothing options for Zelda. We see her standard outfit for the game, a version of her princess dress, and Gerudo clothing. But do these clothes have different properties, like in Breath of the Wild? Or are they just for show and fashion? One of the biggest new details in this trailer is a brand new ability for Zelda, the Bind ability. and it basically seems like Zelda's version of Ultra Hand from Tears of the Kingdom. This allows Zelda to move objects, and it seems to lock at whatever distance away from Zelda that it is, so distance and positioning will be important for this ability. Though, thankfully, just grabbing enemies and pushing them off cliffs seems very quick and easy. But Bind goes a little bit deeper with the Reverse Bond, which has Zelda follow an object's movements instead of it following hers. And we can see to activate this, once Bind is used, the R button is how it changes to Reverse Bond by following it. I think this will lead to some really interesting puzzle solutions, and I'm really curious to see more of it. Next up, from the Japanese website, we can see some incredibly creative use of echoes. This clip for using echoes of potted trees is just fascinating. We see Zelda stack 2 of these potted trees together, then pull out a torch, which then sets fire to both trees, and then also sets fire to the spiderweb up above, as they were close enough. Now, that feels like a solution found in Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and seeing it in action here in Echoes of Wisdom means that some of these solutions are bound to be really interesting. We can also see that the game features some sort of stealth sections. These clips on the Japanese website suggest an early game stealth section of Zelda sneaking around some Hyrulean guards, where she gets to hide in pots. Also, the ability to move around and hide in pots is pretty cute. But why is Zelda hiding from her own guards? Well, we've seen clips of her in a cell with Tri, and it may be because of this scene with her father. We see the King of Hyrule also fall victim to these mysterious rifts. So maybe the guards, unsure of what to do, blame Zelda and think she's some sort of fake sorceress that has brought disaster upon the kingdom, and think she's a fake, so they lock her up? Or maybe they're just controlled by something and throw her down there anyway. I don't know, it's not the first time Zelda's ended up in her own dungeons. Finally, I just want to draw attention to this poster and the extended key art. This poorly drawn wanted poster of Zelda is hilarious, and I kinda hope we see them throughout the game. This likely adds to the idea that the guards are looking for Zelda, and may actually be her enemies. And maybe this explains the scene from the first trailer, with what seems to be an elderly Impa taking out a bunch of guards. Maybe to save Zelda? Hard to say, but clearly something's up in Hyrule, but then again, when isn't it? And there you have it, a bunch of new details on The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. The more we see of this game, the more convinced I am that it's going to be the 2D equivalent of Breath of the Wild, and it's making me really excited for the game. I can't wait to learn more, and we really don't have long to wait, because the game releases next month, which is pretty soon. But what do you guys think? Did you spot any big details that we missed? Let us know down in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to GameXplain for plenty more on The Legend of Zelda, and other things in gaming as well, of course. Until next time, farewell.